Hold on just a second. Okay, sorry, I'm so busy. Like all this smart working from home things and sponsorships and all those deals, got me like crazy. Hi, I'm sorry again. How you doing, by the way? Sorry if I'm not coming too close to you, but social distancing. So my assistant told me that you absolutely needed to talk to me. And what was so important that you couldn't, I don't know, FaceTime or video call? Okay, wait. Let me put some lip gloss on because I don't want you to see me without it. Especially during these days, I really look forward to look all put together and stuff. So tell me, what was your concern? Oh yeah, now I remember. I promised you I was going to reveal you my big weight loss secret. But why do you need that? You look fantastic. Oh, I so get it. Okay, hold on. Let me write to my assistant. So, she will delete all of my next upcoming appointments for the day. Okay. So I can dedicate myself to you completely. Alright, so I want to start by telling you that you look fantastic the way you are, and I don't really think you need to lose some weight unless it's something you really want for yourself in this moment. Alright, if you're fully committed, I can reveal you my secret. So, I actually talked about it a lot, and I dropped my weight by going on keto. I don't know if you ever heard of that. So keto is a diet. Keto stands for ketogenic diet. And basically the main principle of this diet is for you to be in ketosis. What is ketosis? Ketosis is when you are in this state where your body is not using glucose anymore. So glucose is usually the main fuel for your body, and you find glucose in carbohydrates and sugars and things like that. But when you go on keto, you reduce any source of glucose. So you basically eat no carbs, and more than everything, you eat no sugars. So your only fuel, your only source of energy will be provided by fats, and not just junk fats, but healthy fats. So the fact of converting your body to burning fats in order to receive energy and compute will make you transition to the state of ketosis. So you are burning fat rather than glucose. And basically the principle is that when you're using glucose, you are never assessing your storage sources, because when you are, sorry, you had a little piece of hair hanging. I cannot. Sorry. So when you are on glucose, you are used to eating and snacking throughout the day, and actually if you don't do that, you're feeling like starving, you're feeling hungry, and if you don't control this hunger, you're gonna end up really craving super sugary foods. So if you don't eat and snack throughout the day, you're gonna find yourself opening up your cabinets and really binge eating on anything you find there. So it's a loop, and the fact of you constantly renewing your glucose source is never allowing your body to actually go back to your storage. When you're in ketosis instead, especially once your body will be completely adapted, you're actually assessing to your storage. So since your fuel is fat, if you're not providing your body with food, you're actually assessing to your older storage. So you're finding energy from the stubborn fat you have around your body, which is amazing. In fact, ketogenic diet is usually associated with intermittent fasting, and we will talk about it later. But basically, during this fasting windows, your body is actually purifying and assessing to your older storages in order to compute, which is actually amazing. So you'll have to go through a little bit of misconception. Misconception number one being you absolutely need carbs. No, you don't. Misconception number two is you cannot fast. It's not healthy for yourself. It's not healthy for your metabolism. That's not true either. So these are the main things you have to understand before I go ahead and explain you this diet. Okay? Alright, perfect. So, let's start from my drink, by the way. Okay, this is the bulletproof coffee. You can custom make it however you like it, but basically it's a long coffee, so it's not the Italian espresso. To give you an idea, it's a big jar of coffee. The bigger the better, because it's gonna help you feel fuller. So there are several ideas here. There are people that are more strictly related to the fasting itself, who think that you can only have black plain coffee to have a little bit of energy, to feel a little fuller. Some other people actually think that you can enrich your coffee, make it a bulletproof coffee, for example. And by creating a bulletproof coffee, you're adding some fat sources to your coffee, such as MCT oil and or clarified butter. So by adding these healthy fats to your coffee, you are promoting healthy intestines and intestine movements. If you know what I mean, you're gonna find out. And you are providing yourself with a great source of energy, as well as feeling way fuller. Personally, the plain coffee doesn't really help me feeling full throughout my fasting, so I actually prefer to make a bulletproof coffee. Some people think that is not really part of the fasting process, but I don't really care much as long as it works for me, it makes me feel good, and as long as I stay in ketosis. So I make my bulletproof coffee with coffee, um, a spoon of MCT oil, and MCT oil is very healthy oil. You can use it to cook as well, because MCT oil as well as clarified butter are much healthier than olive or coconut oil and butter. Clarified butter, by the way, is not dairy, and they can hold higher temperatures for longer, so they don't become toxic when you cook foods. So yeah, with this being said, you can add them to your coffee. They are a great source of healthy fats. They make you feel fuller, more energetic. You can go through your day without the need of a complete meal, and that is amazing. And I like my coffee to be extra sweet, so I pop some ice in there, even though now there is no more ice left. And I use a little bit of vanilla flavor as well as sweetener. Many people think that sweetener is breaking the fast because it tricks your brain into thinking that your insulin levels are higher due to the income of sugar. So it's not fully recommended, but this is my lunch, so I can actually break my fast right now and I'm having it. Of course, it depends every day. It's not that I don't eat meals, but I just make sure I keep track of my macros. And this is the most important thing about the ketogenic diet: macros, macronutrients. The balance is completely different from the standard diets that require something like says 60 to 70% carbohydrates, 20% proteins, and just a 10% or less fats. In this case, we're having just a 5% of carbohydrates, 20 to 25% of proteins, and the resting 70 to 75% of your macronutrients is going to be healthy fats. Of course, there are different ideas about keto. There is dirty keto and there is clean keto. Dirty ketos allow to introduce more unhealthier foods into your diets. That's not my preference for sure, because I can assess a personal chef and a personal shopper, and I can afford the best foods. So, I'm not about the dirty keto. Dirty keto is also fast food friendly. Basically, you order your normal things without the bread, but the sauces are actually allowed. So that's definitely not my thing. Oh my gosh, no, no. My sisters and I just don't like this kind of things. So I go for the clean keto. But just to let you know, there is also the option of a dirty keto if by any means you cannot afford the clean keto. But yeah, the sources of fats are, as I said, the healthiest possible. So you're going to eat salmon, olives, olive oil. You can eat pork, but you want to make sure that it's first quality meat. So absolutely not processed, not undergone through antibiotics or chemical processes as well. So you just want to make sure you're very careful. You can have tuna fish. Actually, you have to be careful to fish because, of course, you want to make sure your fishes are super healthy and they have been treated super well while they were alive, and so they have not been through antibiotics, or they do not come from very intoxicated ocean areas. And you also want to make sure that the fish does not contain too much mercury. So you can make some research on that. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that the sources of fats must be the best choice ever. So yes to olive oil, but MCT oil is even better because, as I said, it holds temperatures better, and also it has a very healthy processing chain, so that's amazing. Clarified butter. You want to be careful with dairy. So first thing first, milk is not allowed because milk is rich in sugar. Talking about dairy, you can have Greek yogurt. 10% Greek yogurt is even better, but not everybody can actually handle dairy, so you want to be careful about that. You can have access to almonds, peanuts. Pecan is amazing. Peanuts is a little bit too rich in proteins, so you want to make sure you don't exceed the proteins actually. Amazing is Brazilian nuts. Oh my gosh, those are so great because they're rich in healthy fats, low protein, low carbs. Great. So yeah, cashew, things like that. Fruits are not allowed because they're rich in sugar. Rich in sugar is not good. Actually, talking about the proteins, as I told you, you have to balance them out. So I would recommend using an app that can help you to keep track of what you're eating, especially during the first moments where you don't really know. Talking about carbs, you cannot have rice, quinoa, oats, all that just is not allowed. Bananas, sweet potatoes, pumpkins. Pumpkins are not really good. Not forbidden, but not really good. You cannot have fruits. Any kind of fruits is not allowed, except for berries. But you will make sure that if you have berries, maybe you're staying a little lower with the vegetables. Maybe in that meal you're not having vegetables, you're having berries, because you want to keep track of your carbohydrates. Carbohydrates will be transformed in glucose, and proteins as well. If you see it, they can be transformed in glucose, so keep that in mind. Talking about allowed vegetables, everything that is green leaf based, broccoli, kale, cauliflower. Oh my gosh, you can make so many amazing recipes with cauliflower. You will be surprised. You can make puree, you can make pizza, you can make sushi with cauliflower rice, and that's my go-to recipe. I promise it's gonna be amazing. You're gonna fall in love with it. So, just to give you an idea what you can eat on a daily basis, these are the main foods that you're allowed to eat. And as we were talking about before, intermittent fasting. So maybe you can start with 12 hours window where you eat and 12 hours window where you fast. So maybe if you finish dinner at 8 p.m., you're not gonna snack before you go to bed. You're gonna do your full night of sleep and only have your breakfast after 8 a.m. So you're gonna have this window of 12 hours where you're not fasting. You can expand your window if you feel like you're ready to 14 to 16. Some people do 18, 20. Some people only do one meal a day with it, which is a little too extra. So you can experiment with what works for you. Keep in mind that during the fasting moment, your body is going to assess your older fat storages, and it's going to balance out the insulin levels and all that stuff. So it's very beneficial for you to fast, and it's also much easier to control your macronutrients if you allow them to be spread into a smaller window. But yeah, for example, to me, fasting gives me a lot of anxiety, so it depends. I hate doing one meal a day, even though that meal can be like anything mostly. But I just don't like it because I'd rather distribute my meals during the day, have smaller meals, more controlled portion, but just be able to eat when and if I feel hungry. The great thing though is that when you're in ketosis, you're not gonna feel hungry. When you're glucose based, you're gonna feel hungry after a couple hours, as I said before, because your sources of glucose are going to be over. But when you are keto adapted, you're only gonna feel hungry when and if your body is actually in need of food. So that's great. And it's a great feeling, it's a lovely feeling. And personally, I like to start my days with breakfast. I like to celebrate the new day with a lovely breakfast. But for example, I don't feel hungry at lunchtime, so I can actually have a lovely rich breakfast and then eat dinner, skip lunch, and then do the fasting overnight. Do not snack after dinner, and this works for me. You wanna make sure you are taking some supplements such as electrolytes, collagen, zinc, basically anything that helps you keep your hair and nails strong, your skin shiny, your joints healthy. Because actually, when you do not eat carbs, something is going to miss. You can also choose to do 1 or 2 recharging days per week where you higher your carbs up to 100 grams. So you can have maybe a sweet potato or something like that, actually a healthy source of carbohydrates, just to balance out. It depends on people, how for somebody it works, for somebody it does not work. It's up to you. You have to really see and experiment and be patient, because of course within the first 15 days it's going to be pretty hard. Your body is addicted to years and years of carbohydrates, so it's going to miss them a lot. You're going to feel weak, you're going to feel dizzy, you're going to have a bit of mental fog. So I recommend that you take your electrolytes. Never ever forget them, it's very important. So you're gonna make it through this keto adaptation moment that is called the keto flu. And after that, your body will adapt. In 2 to 3 months, your body will be completely and fully keto adapted, and you're gonna really benefit from the higher energy levels, weight loss, more mental clearness, and so many good things, as well as clearer skin, because actually carbs, as well as beans, peas, things like that, are very inflammatory, so they can manifest it through acne. And once you feel ready, you can implement workouts in your routine, because working out is always very important. So you can start, you don't have to start all of a sudden, because especially when your body is keto adapting, it's really hard. You're gonna feel very weak, as I said. But once you feel ready, once you feel more energetic, you can introduce workouts into your routines once, twice, 3 times a week, as much as you can. I work out every day because I do have a personal trainer. I can afford a personal trainer, but not everybody can, of course. So there are a lot of YouTube videos that can help you with high intensity interval training, dance cardio, everything that works for you. And you take it easy, starts from there, and you're gonna be surprised, amazed with the results. Okay, darling? Is there anything else you wanna ask? Okay, so if that's it, I'm gonna come back to my business messages. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. If you have any questions, you can send a text message to my assistant, and she will make sure we keep in contact.